This message is for you. Someone younger was never an accident in your life. They were sent for a reason you're about to understand. Before you dismiss those words, before your mind rushes to explain everything through logic, timing, coincidence, or circumstance, take a moment and listen with your heart. Not every connection enters your life to fit the expectations of the world. Not every soul arrives carrying the familiar energy you thought would accompany your journey. Some arrive wrapped in surprises. Some arrive carrying lessons disguised as attraction, friendship, admiration, challenge, or even confusion. And sometimes, they arrive younger than you expected. You spent so much time questioning why. Why this person? Why now? Why someone whose life experiences seem different from yours? Why someone who appears to be standing at another stage of life? The questions became louder than the answers. The doubts became stronger than the feelings. The fear of judgment often became more powerful than the truth your soul was trying to reveal, but the connection remained. It remained through distance, it remained through silence, it remained through moments when you convinced yourself it was over. It remained because some connections are not built upon age, status, location, or social expectations. They are built upon energy. They are built upon recognition. They are built upon something deeper than the physical world can easily explain. The younger soul that entered your life was not sent to complete you because you were never incomplete. They were not sent to rescue you because your strength was never absent. They were sent to awaken something. Perhaps they awakened your ability to feel again. Perhaps they awakened parts of your heart that had been asleep for years. Perhaps they challenged beliefs you inherited from others rather than beliefs that truly belonged to you. Perhaps they reminded you that life is not measured by numbers but by growth. Think about who you were before they arrived. Think about the walls you had built. Think about the fears you carried. Think about the routines that slowly became cages. Then think about what happened after their presence entered your reality. Something shifted. Maybe it was small at first. Maybe it was barely noticeable. Maybe it felt like a spark. Maybe it felt like curiosity. Maybe it felt like inspiration. But it grew. And as it grew, so did you. That is what many fail to understand about spiritual connections. They are not always sent to fit perfectly into your expectations. They are sent to transform you. Transformation rarely arrives wearing familiar clothes. Transformation often appears in forms that challenge everything you thought you knew. The younger soul in your life may have carried a freedom you forgot existed. They may have carried hope when your hope was fading. They may have carried courage when fear had become comfortable. They may have reflected the version of yourself that still believed in possibilities. You were never meant to look at them and only see their age. You were meant to look beyond the surface. You were meant to witness their wisdom. Because wisdom does not belong exclusively to years. Some souls have traveled through lifetimes. Some souls carry ancient understanding. Some souls arrive with lessons already etched into their spirit, and when those souls appear younger on the outside, many people overlook what is standing directly in front of them. but your soul noticed, your heart noticed. That is why the connection became impossible to ignore. That is why you kept returning to thoughts of them even when you tried to move on. That is why something inside you continued searching for meaning. The truth is that growth does not always come from those older than us. Sometimes growth comes from those who remind us how much life still exists beyond our limitations. The younger soul may have shown you how to dream again. They may have shown you how to laugh again. They may have shown you how to trust your intuition again. They may have shown you that love is not something calculated through spreadsheets of compatibility and societal approval. Love is something felt. Energy is something experienced. Connection is something recognized. And recognition happens at the soul level. There is a reason you could not simply explain them away. There is a reason they remained in your awareness. There is a reason their presence activated emotions you thought were long gone. Because they were carrying a message. The message was never simply about romance. The message was about expansion. The message was about healing. The message was about remembering. Remembering who you are beneath fear. Remembering who you are beneath conditioning. Remembering who you are beneath expectations. Sometimes the younger person becomes the mirror. A mirror reflects what exists, not what we pretend exists, not what we wish existed. What truly exists, and when they reflected parts of yourself back to you, the experience became uncomfortable and beautiful at the same time. You saw wounds that still needed healing. You saw dreams that still wanted expression. You saw fears that still controlled certain choices. You saw strengths you had forgotten. You saw potential. Most importantly, you saw possibility. The universe often sends people into our lives not to give us answers but to provoke questions. The younger soul may have inspired you to ask questions you never dared ask before. What if love is bigger than fear? What if growth requires discomfort? What if judgment from others should not determine the direction of your life? What if the connection entered your path for a sacred purpose? These questions matter because they open doors. Doors lead to transformation. Transformation leads to evolution. Evolution leads to alignment. And alignment leads you closer to the person you were always meant to become. Many people spend their lives avoiding connections that challenge them. They choose familiarity over growth. They choose certainty over expansion. They choose comfort over truth. But your journey was never designed to remain comfortable. Your soul came here to evolve. Your soul came here to learn. Your soul came here to remember love in all its forms. The younger person may have arrived carrying a frequency your spirit needed. Not because they were perfect, not because they had all the answers, but because their energy activated something important. Think about the lessons. Think about the healing. Think about the awareness. Think about the transformation. Those things matter. Sometimes we become so focused on labels that we miss the gift. The gift was never their age. The gift was what their presence awakened. The gift was what their existence revealed. The gift was what their energy inspired, even if the path became complicated, even if circumstances created distance, even if timing felt impossible, the impact remains. No meaningful soul connection leaves you unchanged. That is why this experience continues speaking to you. That is why your heart still searches for understanding. That is why your spirit still feels the echo, because there is something important you are meant to learn, and perhaps the lesson is simpler than you imagined. Perhaps the lesson is that souls recognize souls. Perhaps the lesson is that wisdom wears many faces. Perhaps the lesson is that love does not always arrive according to human expectations. Perhaps the lesson is that growth often enters disguised as uncertainty. Whatever the lesson may be, trust that it exists, trust that nothing was wasted, trust that every conversation mattered, trust that every emotion carried meaning, trust that every challenge served a purpose. The younger soul was not an accident. The meeting was not random, the timing was not meaningless, the emotions were not imaginary, the lessons were not unnecessary. Everything happened for a reason, and whether that reason was to teach, heal, inspire, awaken, transform, or guide, the purpose continues unfolding even now. So stop asking why they appeared and start asking what they came to teach. Stop focusing only on the difference and begin appreciating the connection. Stop measuring the journey through society's expectations and begin measuring it through the growth it created within you, because the greatest proof of purpose is transformation. And you are not the same person you were before they arrived. That alone tells a powerful story, a story of awakening, a story of remembrance, a story of courage, a story of healing, a story of two souls crossing paths for reasons greater than appearances, and as your understanding deepens, you may finally realize something beautiful. The younger soul was never sent to make your life smaller. They were sent to make your world bigger. They were sent to remind you that the heart still knows how to feel. They were sent to remind you that growth never stops. They were sent to remind you that love begins with recognition. Most of all, they were sent to remind you that the soul sees what the eyes often overlook. And once the soul has recognized something meaningful, the journey of understanding begins. That journey is still unfolding. Trust it, honor it, learn from it, grow through it, and allow yourself to receive the wisdom hidden within the connection, because the reason they entered your life may be far more extraordinary